Actually, I don't like to comment on Busola's case or the issues surrounding the whole case. That's because people tend to be very sensitive when it comes to rape issues. I'm a rape victim myself, so I know what it is and I know what it means and how long it takes to come out. I only came out about my own in my book, A Toast to Life. Even my mom didn't know about those issues, and it took me 33 years of my life to come out. So I know how very sensitive it is. So I really don't like to comment because I don't know how she feels, what she's going through, and all of that. So I don't comment on it.
I had a conversation with a couple of people regarding that, and I see that it's quite sad that even if he was guilty, he can't be convicted because there was no actual evidence of the situation. But this is Nigeria. We're hoping that the law would take its course and maybe something would happen after that. But that's my take on that, basically. So, guys, let's keep around. It's your boy, aka Fresh, right here.
No, I don't think it ended right, but I get how or why the case ended the way it did because of the substantial evidence or lack of. But yeah, I think it just goes to show the kind of the way the system is. It's basically rigged, or it's basically built up to work against us generally, or to work against women, especially in the case of rape. If you go to check out the constitution, it's basically built up to work against rape victims. So yeah, I think that should be looked into. It should be corrected. But yeah, it's just a sad case. Yeah.
First of all, I think that wasn't a fair judgment, but here, this is Nigeria, anything goes. So I think it's wrong and it's not cool. The man, he should face what he did, so justice should be served. Trust me. Yeah.
For me, that case was never about her winning. It happened too long ago. I think anyone that knows the law will know there was never going to be victory in any sorts. But it was never about the law. It was always about exposure. The fact that she was able to come forward with her story meant other people were motivated by that to come forward with their stories as well. So for me, that was the win. The fact that a lot of people were able to take from her story, take that kind of strength from her story and say, you know what, instead of me dying with this, since Busola can do it, I can come out with my story. I saw there was a large influx of stories coming out immediately that happened. So that was the win. Young girls should not be suffering from silence. Sexual harassment, rape, these are things we need to clear from our society. We cannot be looking at women as objects. We are all equal. So they need to be able to tell their stories freely, especially when they are bad eggs. And as men, we should be able to call out people that we know that, that go into things like this. We need to call them out. We need to report them as well. You get me? Nobody should be doing this at all.
Well, what I've been updated with reference of her being still charged of that, I think the fact that a man will take advantage of another woman is wrong in the first place. So if anyone is going to be, given a free will to pass through because of what he has, his wealth, that's completely wrong, and the country to blame, actually. So let's take more serious the things that should be taken serious, and make sure justice is served, regardless of who is wrong. Everything has to, whoever the person is, the rank or status, justice needs to be served, basically.
First of all, I'm going to be very, very fair to both sides. Busola said something. It was her words against that of the pastor. And if she said it and she mentioned names, it wasn't just between her and the pastor. She mentioned a couple of other pastors that are still serving under the pastor, because I watched the interview thoroughly all through. And the pastor also came out to say he didn't do it. The courts, so I have a problem with the court's decision saying it was a long time back. I mean, we've watched cases like the R. Kelly case, like the Bill Cosby case, and a lot of other cases where it happened like lots of years ago and it was brought back. But at the end of the day, If not true saying do na prick, you go stand again. And everybody will do bad thing, judgment. Because even Bible talks say judgment go start inside church. So I'm not judging because I've had my fair share of judgment, but I said my truth, I stood by the truth.
Honestly, I've completely withdrawn from that issue. I was so passionate about it because I was hoping that something would be done. But for me, I feel like it's been swept under the carpet like every other issue in this country. So I'm withdrawn from it. Honestly, I'm not in. Yeah, I don't like talking about it because I've talked about it for so long. So yeah, I'm withdrawn.
I don't know who's wrong. I don't know who's right. But the way the case was handled was very, 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 very lackadaisical. It was more like they didn't care to understand where the victim came from. Because I know victims, I have seen victims, and I know that nobody ever believes them. So I'm not happy about how it came out. But at the end of the day, we know that people already know the truth. I believe. I don't know if you believe, but I believe. So, okay.
To be honest, I feel like it's been, according to what she said, awareness is a win. So regardless of what the government does, a statement has been made. And I'm sure that it will stick for years to come. So that is a good win, either or without the government.
To be very honest, the person telling the truth is the only person that knows the truth at the end of the day. But if the pastor is guilty, he may have been proven innocent in the eyes of the law. But, it happened, 20-something years ago, and she came out today. The truth will still come out another 20-something years from now. And if she's not truthful, maybe this is her karma, maybe it's not. But what I know is, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to go all biblical or religious or whatever, but as long as there's a God, the truth will always prevail. I'm glad that she's a strong woman, and I'm all for women and whatnot, but the truth will forever prevail at the end of the day. That's what I know for a fact. 20 years, 50 years, it will prevail.
I usually wouldn't want to respond to this particular question, but I would. I think rape in our society is something that is on the increase, and unfortunately, it doesn't get the light, the right attention it deserves. I think rape should not be taken lightly, but I also think that when these cases are brought up, we should make sure that they're brought up in a way that will be convincing, just so that there's no doubt in it. When something like that happens to you, please speak up as soon as possible, so that people who do those kind of things will be brought to book. But also, we should also be mindful of the fact that there are people out there who are accused wrongly. So we can never truly come to any conclusion until we know the fact, or we know facts about the whole situation. So on this particular case, I really do not know, and I just hope everyone involved is doing well.
Well, so the thing is, I'm a lawyer, so I understand that law works with facts as opposed to emotions. But I feel like there is a better way they could have done things as regards, the decision of the court. But let's see what the Court of Appeal decides to, uphold, and then maybe the Supreme Court. So yeah, let's watch as the event unfolds.